The spaceship shivered as it pierced the thin clouds of Zarathis. Liam gripped the edges of his seat, his heart beating faster with every moment. He had trained for years to explore unknown planets, but nothing had prepared him for this world. From the window, he could see glowing forests stretching across jagged cliffs, rivers that shimmered in shades of blue and green, and storms moving like living creatures across the sky. The planet was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. When the ship finally landed, the ground shook beneath him. Liam stepped out, feeling the strange weight of Zarathis's gravity. It was slightly heavier than Earth, but his body adjusted. Quickly, the air smelled different, a mixture of minerals and something faintly sweet. He could see signs of life everywhere. Massive trees with translucent leaves swayed even though there was no wind, and strange creatures moved in the underbrush. He tightened his backpack straps and started, walking carefully toward a distant ridge. Liam noticed massive alien structures ahead. They were shaped like towers, but made from a material that seemed to glow from inside. Some towers were broken, fallen into the cliffs below, while others stood tall, casting long shadows. Whoever had built these structures had intelligence and skill far beyond anything Liam had imagined. His curiosity grew, but so did a quiet fear. The planet felt alive, as if it was watching him dot as he moved closer. Liam felt a shiver down his spine. Something moved in the shadows of the nearest tower. He froze. Two glowing eyes appeared, staring at him from a dark corner. He could barely make out a humanoid shape, taller than a man, thin, with limbs that moved in ways humans could not. Liam's mind raced. He had expected wildlife, not predators this intelligent. Slowly, he reached for his scanning device, hoping to learn more about this being without attracting it. The eyes blinked once, then vanished. Liam exhaled slowly, reminding himself to stay calm. He knew this world was dangerous. Every step had to be careful, measured, and alert. He moved forward again, keeping low, his eyes scanning every shadow, every movement in the glowing forest. The towers grew closer, and he realized some of the paths were covered with symbols carved into the stone. He could not understand them, but they felt like warnings. Hours passed as Liam explored the area. He avoided open spaces and stayed near the rocks. The sun, or what seemed like a sun, began to set, painting the sky in shades of red and purple. That's when he heard a low, soft sound that sent chills through his body. A whisper of movement, like someone walking on dry leaves. Liam turned sharply, and for a brief moment, he saw several figures darting between the towers. They were humanoid, like the one he had seen before, but there were more of them. They moved silently, but their eyes glowed brightly. Liam's pulse quickened. He realized they were not just observing him. They were hunting him. The rule of this world became clear: survive or perish. He remembered his training. Humans could be weak compared to these creatures, but humans had something no predator had: ingenuity. Liam thought fast. He picked up a few sharp rocks and small sticks from the ground, preparing for a quick defense if needed. The creatures came closer, their eyes reflecting the fading light. Liam ducked behind a fallen tower, holding his breath. He watched as they moved with intelligence, scanning the area as if they knew he was there. One of them paused, lifted its head, and sniffed the air. Liam felt a surge of fear, but he forced himself to remain calm. He needed to move, to find shelter before night fell. He spotted a narrow cliff path leading upward. It was risky, with loose stones and sudden drops, but it offered some protection. Liam began to climb carefully, testing each step. The creatures followed, but slower, careful not to lose sight of him. His muscles ached and sweat ran down his face, but he did not stop. Every moment was a test of endurance, strategy, and courage. Finally, he reached a small ledge that offered a view of the alien forest below. He crouched there, listening to the distant sounds of movement. The creatures did not seem able to climb as easily as he could, which gave him a small advantage. Liam allowed himself a moment to breathe, to think. This world was more dangerous than anything humans had faced before, but it was also a place of opportunity. He could learn, adapt, and survive. As the first stars appeared in the sky, Liam made a silent promise to himself. He would not perish. He would explore this world, understand it, and survive. Humans were fragile, but they had something extraordinary: creativity, courage, and the ability to think when every instinct told them to run. He looked at the glowing towers and the forest below, ready for whatever the night would bring. The struggle had begun. The night on Zarathis was alive with sounds Liam had never heard before. Strange calls echoed from the glowing forest, and the wind or something like wind whistled through the jagged cliffs. Liam kept low on the ledge, his heart still racing. From the close encounter with the glowing-eyed humanoid, he knew he could not stay there forever. The creatures were intelligent hunters, and sooner or later, they would find a way to reach him. Carefully, he began to move along the cliff path. Each step was measured. Loose stones threatened to slip under his feet, but Liam used his hands to balance. He listened closely. There were soft, almost silent sounds following him. His stomach tightened. The creatures were close. He had to think, or he would become their prey. Liam remembered the hollow trunks he had seen earlier in the glowing forest. If he could reach one, he might have temporary shelter. He adjusted his path, descending carefully toward the forest. The trees glowed, faintly, illuminating the path just enough for him to see where he was going. He moved quickly but quietly, avoiding the open spaces where the hunters could spot him. Suddenly, a shadow darted across his path. Liam froze. He could see the faint outline of a humanoid moving between the trees. It stopped, scanning the area, its glowing eyes sweeping the forest. Liam held his breath, pressing himself against the rough bark of a large tree. He waited, counting silently, hoping the creature would move on. After what felt like minutes, it disappeared, slipping into the darkness. Liam exhaled slowly. He had escaped, but he knew more would come. Finally, he reached a hollowed trunk large enough to hide inside. He crawled in, careful not to make noise. The interior smelled earthy, but it was dry and protected. Liam sat down, trying to calm his shaking hands. He reached into his backpack and checked his supplies. He had a few energy packs, a water bottle, a small knife, and his scanning device. It was not much, but it might be enough to survive for now. As he rested, Liam studied the glowing forest. The trees were strange, their translucent leaves pulsing faintly. He could see small creatures moving between the roots, some glowing like the trees themselves. The forest was alive in a way that felt both beautiful and dangerous. Every shadow could hide a threat. Every sound could mean danger. Liam realized that survival would require more than running. It would require understanding. This world, hours passed. The forest was quieter now, though he could still hear distant movement. Liam decided he could not stay hidden forever. The hunters were patient, and he needed food, water, and a plan. He crawled out of the hollow trunk and moved along the forest floor, keeping close to the shadows. He used fallen branches and rocks to mask his steps, careful not to make a sound. Suddenly, a faint glow appeared ahead. Liam approached cautiously and saw a small stream. The water shimmered with a soft blue light. He knelt down, drinking carefully. As he drank, he noticed footprints in the soft ground. They were not human. They were tall and narrow, with long toes. Liam's heart beat faster. The hunters were near. He could feel their presence, even though he could not see them. He finished drinking and moved quickly to higher ground, hoping to spot the hunters before they spotted him. From a rocky ridge, he saw them, 3 humanoids moving with grace and speed, scanning the area with glowing eyes. They were intelligent, aware of every movement. Liam realized he could not outrun them forever. He needed a strategy. Looking around, he noticed a series of cliffs and narrow paths that twisted upward. He could use the terrain to his advantage. If he moved carefully, he might lose them or at least slow them down. Liam began his climb, using every skill he had learned from survival training. He leapt across small gaps, clung to rocky edges, and stayed hidden in shadows. The hunters followed, slower than him on the difficult terrain, but persistent. At one point, Liam stopped to catch his breath. He looked back and saw one hunter pause, its glowing eyes scanning the ridge. Then it began to move again, faster this time. Liam felt a rush of fear, but also determination. Humans might be physically weaker than these creatures, but they could think, adapt, and survive where others failed. He smiled slightly, knowing he had a chance if he stayed clever. Night deepened, and the hunters began to lose sight of him among the twisting cliffs. Liam found a small ledge with a few rocks forming a natural barrier. He hid there, watching the forest below. His hands were scraped, his clothes torn, and his heart was racing, but he was alive. He had survived the first night. Liam realized that Zarathus was not just a dangerous world, it was a test. Every step, every choice could mean life or death. He knew that the hunters would not give up easily. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, and he would need to be ready. He tightened his backpack straps, checked his knife, and whispered to himself that he would survive. For the first time, he understood the true meaning of this world: run or perish. And Liam was determined not to perish. The morning light on Zarathus was dim and strange, filtered through the glowing leaves of the forest. Liam had slept only a few hours on his small ledge, but he felt a quiet determination. He could not stay in one place. The hunters were patient, and they would find him if he lingered. He needed to move carefully, exploring, learning, and surviving. As he descended the cliffs, Liam heard a soft noise coming from a hollow in a nearby tree. It was a sound different from the rustle of the forest. Curious but cautious, he approached slowly. There, crouched inside the hollow, was a human. She was small and lean, with short dark hair and sharp, intelligent eyes. She held a makeshift spear and stared at him with suspicion. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice firm but quiet. "My name is Liam. I am alone. Are you?" He hesitated. "Are you human too?" The woman's expression softened slightly, but her eyes remained alert. "Yes, I am Tara. I have been surviving here for months. You should not be out in the open. They will find you quickly." Liam nodded, understanding the danger immediately. He had faced one humanoid last night, but clearly, Tara knew much more about the hunters and the forest. He lowered his backpack. Carefully, "Can you help me? I need to reach higher ground, maybe find safety." Tara studied him for a moment, then nodded. "Follow me, but keep quiet and do exactly as I say. Zarathus does not forgive mistakes." Together, they moved through the forest, careful to avoid open spaces. Tara taught Liam how to move silently, stepping on soft moss and avoiding glowing patches that might reveal them. She explained how to read the trails of the hunters, the slight bends in broken branches, the marks on glowing leaves, and the faint impressions on the soil. Liam listened closely, absorbing every detail. Hours passed as they moved. Tara led him to small caves and hidden hollows where they could rest safely during the day. She had learned to use the forest itself as protection, building traps with rocks and vines and creating barriers that could slow down the hunters. Liam realized how much humans could achieve with creativity and careful thinking. Physical strength alone would not be enough. Ingenuity was the key. During one pause, Liam asked, "How do you survive alone for so long?" Tara looked at him, her eyes serious. "You learn quickly, or you die. You watch everything. You understand the patterns of this world. And you trust no one but yourself until you know they are like you." Liam nodded, understanding the weight of her words. He had always known humans were clever, but seeing Tara's skills in action made him realize how much humans could endure and adapt. They were weaker than the hunters, faster than most humans, but the ability to think and plan gave them an advantage. Later, as the sky darkened, they reached a narrow cliff path. The hunters had been nearby. Liam could feel it. Their glowing eyes had appeared in the shadows, watching, waiting. Tara whispered instructions quickly. "Move slowly, low to the rocks. When you hear them, freeze. Do not make any sudden movements. If you fall, they will catch you." They crept along the path, the hunter's sounds echoing faintly below. Liam felt his muscles tighten, every sense alert. One hunter appeared ahead, its eyes glowing bright in the dim light. Tara froze instantly, and Liam followed her lead. The creature paused, sniffed the air, then moved past without noticing them. Liam exhaled quietly, relieved. Finally, they reached a small plateau with a stream of fresh water. Tara smiled faintly, the first hint of ease Liam had seen. "This is safe for now," she said. "We can rest, eat, and plan our next move." As they drank and ate, Liam felt a sense of hope he had not known since landing on Zarathis. Humans were not just survivors. They were thinkers, planners, and adaptable in ways the hunters could not predict. He looked at Tara and realized he had found more than an ally. He had found someone who could teach him how to survive this hostile world. Night fell again, and the forest glowed in a strange, soft light. Liam and Tara sat silently, listening to the sounds of the hunters moving in the distance. The glow from the trees cast shadows across their faces, and Liam felt a mixture of fear and determination. Tomorrow would be another day of running, hiding, and surviving, but now he had a guide. Now he had a chance. Tara spoke softly. "We will reach higher ground, find the safe zone the others have spoken about. But it will not be easy. The hunters are clever, and Zarathis does not forgive mistakes. You must trust your mind, not just your strength." Liam nodded, feeling the weight of her words. He understood now that survival on Zarathis was not about fighting. It was about thinking, observing, and acting quickly. Humans might be weaker, but they had something extraordinary: creativity, courage, and the ability to learn from every challenge. As the glowing forest hummed around them, Liam realized that he was no longer alone. The struggle on Zarathis had become a shared one, and together, humans could face even the most dangerous hunters. He tightened his backpack, checked his knife, and looked out at the forest. The fight for survival had become a test of human ingenuity, and Liam was ready. The next morning, Liam and Tara set out early, moving carefully through the glowing forest. The path to higher ground was steep and dangerous, but it offered the best chance of staying ahead of the hunters. The forest around them was alive with strange noises and flickering lights. Every shadow could hide a threat, and every sound demanded attention. Liam felt a mix of fear and excitement. This world was testing him, and he was learning fast. As they climbed a narrow ridge, Liam noticed fresh tracks in the soft moss. The hunters had been here recently. He froze, pointing to the prints. Tara nodded grimly. "They are close. We need to move carefully and stay low." They followed a twisting path along the cliff, using rocks and tree roots to stay hidden. Suddenly, a sharp sound echoed from below. Liam looked down, and saw 3 hunters moving in perfect coordination. Their glowing eyes scanned the forest, and they paused as if sensing something. Tara pressed Liam against the rock wall, whispering instructions. "Freeze. Do not move. Let them pass." The hunters sniffed the air, then stepped forward, their movements silent but precise. Liam's heart raced. Every instinct told him to run, but Tara had taught him better. Patience, observation, and timing were more powerful than speed. After a tense minute, the hunters moved on, leaving Liam and Tara untouched. Liam exhaled slowly, amazed at how smart and patient these creatures were. They continued upward, and the forest began to thin. The cliffs opened to jagged rocks and narrow pathways that twisted toward the mountains. Liam and Tara needed to cross these paths to reach the safe zone Tara had heard about from other humans long ago. The hunters would find these cliffs harder to navigate, which gave them a small advantage as they walked. Liam spotted something strange, a series of broken stones and logs arranged in a line. Tara examined them quickly. "These are traps," she said. "Someone or something set them to slow us down. Be careful." Liam nodded, stepping lightly and avoiding the hidden dangers. He realized that the hunters did not just rely on speed. They used the environment, set traps, and learned quickly from every attempt to catch humans. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from behind. Liam turned just in time to see a hunter leaping across the rocks, landing close to them. Tara reacted instantly, grabbing Liam's arm and pulling him behind a boulder. The hunter scanned the area, glowing eyes searching, but it had not seen them. Liam's pulse raced as he watched the creature. It was tall, agile, and fast, built to hunt. Yet even with all its strength, it could be outsmarted with planning. Liam whispered, "We cannot keep running like this forever. We need a plan." Tara nodded. "We will set traps too. Use the terrain. Make the hunters work for every step. They are smart, but humans are clever. They work together, moving rocks and fallen branches to create small barriers and decoys." Liam discovered that by making noise in one area while they slipped away in another, they could confuse the hunters. Hours passed as they climbed higher, using strategy to stay ahead. Every step tested their patience, strength, and creativity. Liam realized humans were not helpless prey. They could plan, adapt, and survive even against creatures designed to hunt. As night approached, the hunters caught sight of movement from above. Liam and Tara froze behind a cluster of rocks. The hunters moved carefully, sniffing the air, scanning the cliffs. Liam held his breath, heart pounding. One hunter leaped forward, but Tara had already predicted its path. She triggered a small rock trap they had set earlier. A cascade of stones blocked the hunter temporarily, giving them a few precious seconds to move. They ran quickly along a narrow ridge, jumping across gaps and climbing small ledges. Liam's muscles ached, but he did not stop. Tara led the way, showing him paths and shortcuts that would have been impossible to find alone. The hunters followed, slower but relentless, adapting to every trick they tried. Finally, they reached a small ledge that provided cover and a view of the forest below. Liam collapsed briefly, catching his breath. Tara looked at him and smiled faintly. "We survived. But the hunters are learning. Every move we make, they study. We need to be faster, smarter, and ready for the next challenge." Liam nodded, feeling a mix of fear and excitement. He had never faced anything like this before. The hunters were relentless, strong, and intelligent. But humans had something unique: creativity, courage, and the ability to plan. He understood now that survival on Zarathis was not about strength alone. It was about thinking, observing, and acting with skill. As the glowing forest shimmered below, Liam realized the truth of their struggle. The hunters would not stop. The mountains would not be easy to cross, but humans had survived in impossible situations before, and he was determined that they would survive here too. The first serious confrontation had tested them, and they had learned. The chase was far from over, but Liam knew that together, he and Tara could face anything this world threw at them. The next morning, Liam and Tara moved cautiously through a narrow valley. The cliffs had given way to a strange plateau filled with alien ruins. Broken towers, strange symbols carved in stone, and glowing crystals scattered across the ground made the place seem both beautiful and dangerous. Tara paused, scanning the area carefully. "This place is old," she said. "Long before the hunters, something else lived here. We need to be careful." Liam followed her lead, stepping lightly among the ruins. The symbols on the stone glowed faintly in the morning light. Liam ran his fingers over one of them. It pulsed softly, almost like it had a heartbeat. He wondered who had built this place and why. The hunters had not created it. This was something far older and far smarter. As they explored, Liam spotted a strange device half buried in the soil. It looked like a small console with alien markings and a faint glowing screen. Tara knelt beside it, brushing away dirt and dust. "This might show us something," she said. She pressed a symbol, and suddenly a holographic display appeared. Figures moved within it, humanoid but taller than humans, with long limbs and calm faces. They walked among structures similar to the ruins around Liam and Tara. Liam watched closely. The hologram showed the humanoids performing tasks, building towers, and communicating with devices that Liam could barely understand. Then the scene changed, and the figures began to vanish one by one, leaving the planet empty. Liam's heart raced. "What happened to them?" he whispered. Tara shook her head. "It looks like extinction. Something wiped them out. These ruins are all that is left." She paused, studying the hologram. "The hunters we face now are not the original species. They were created or modified to survive when the originals could not. That is why they are so strong and clever. They were designed for this world." Liam felt a shiver run down his spine. He had thought the hunters were just wild predators, but now he realized they were engineered for survival. Their intelligence, speed, and persistence were all deliberate. Humans were weaker physically, but they had something else: creativity, courage, and the ability to plan ahead. Liam felt determination rise inside him. Tara stood, pointing toward a distant ridge. "We need to move. The hunters will be close soon. But we have a small advantage now. If we understand them, we can outsmart them." Liam nodded. He felt a new sense of purpose. This world was dangerous, but humans could survive not by brute force, but by thinking, learning, and adapting. As they moved, Liam and Tara noticed faint trails in the soil. The hunters had passed recently. Tara smiled faintly. "We can use this. If we create traps and decoys, we can slow them down. They are clever, but humans are unpredictable." Liam felt hope. They had learned something valuable. Understanding the hunters was a key to survival. They set small traps along the path. Hidden pits, loose rocks ready to fall, and branches arranged to create noise when stepped on. Liam and Tara moved carefully, testing each trap from a distance. When a hunter approached one of the traps, it reacted instantly, pausing and analyzing. Liam held his breath, then watched as the hunter was forced to retreat. Tara nodded. "It works. They may be smart, but they cannot predict everything. That is our advantage." Hours passed as they navigated the ruins and plateau. Liam marveled at the alien structures and their intelligence. He realized that the hunters were only one part of the danger. The planet itself was alive with challenges. Strange plants moved subtly, some releasing spores that made humans dizzy if touched. Rocks shifted slightly as if pushed by hidden forces. Every step required attention, skill, and calm thinking. Finally, as the sun began to set, Liam and Tara found a small cave hidden behind a fallen tower. It offered shelter and water from a small stream. They rested there, exhausted but alive. Liam looked at the glowing symbols on the walls of the cave and thought about the history of this world. Humans might be physically weak compared to the hunters, but they had endurance, courage, and the ability to learn from every challenge. Tara turned to him. "Tomorrow, we continue to the safe zone. It is still far, and the hunters will not give up easily. But now, we have knowledge, and knowledge is power. If we use it wisely, we can survive." Liam nodded. He felt a new determination rising inside him. Zarathis was dangerous, but humans had something extraordinary: creativity, courage, and the ability to adapt. He realized that understanding the hunters, understanding the planet, and understanding themselves was the key to survival. Humans might be fragile, but their minds could conquer challenges no one else could face. As night fell and the forest around them glowed softly, Liam and Tara prepared for the next stage of their journey. The hunters were still out there, intelligent and relentless, but humans had discovered a small but powerful advantage. The struggle to survive on Zarathis was far from over. But Liam knew one thing clearly: humans would endure, not because of strength, but because of their ability to think, adapt, and never give up. The morning air was crisp as Liam and Tara left their hidden cave. The glowing forest around them seemed calmer than usual, but they both knew better. The hunters were out there, patient and intelligent, tracking their every move. Today would be another test, one that would demand every ounce of skill, courage, and creativity they had. Tara led the way along a narrow cliff path that twisted upward. The hunters' tracks were fresh. Liam followed closely, his senses alert to every sound, every shadow. "They are closer than yesterday," Tara whispered. "We need to stay smart and move carefully. Every step counts." As they moved, Liam noticed rocks arranged unusually along the path. He realized they were part of the traps they had set the day before. Tara had planned for the hunters' approach, leaving decoys and small obstacles to slow them down. The hunters had been clever enough to learn from the first traps, but Liam and Tara had adapted, creating more complex diversions. Suddenly, a noise erupted from below. Liam looked down and saw a hunter reacting to one of the traps. A cascade of stones tumbled down the cliff, and the hunter leaped back with a hiss. Liam's heart pounded. The hunters were strong, fast, and relentless, but the traps were working. Tara smiled faintly. "They are learning, but we are unpredictable. That is our advantage." They moved quickly but cautiously along the cliff, leaping across small gaps and climbing over jagged rocks. Liam's muscles ached, and his breath came in short gasps, but he pushed forward. He realized that endurance and quick thinking were as important as speed. Every obstacle, every decision could mean life or death. Ahead, the path narrowed to a thin ledge with a steep drop on one side. Liam froze for a moment, then followed Tara carefully. The hunters appeared at the edge of the forest below, their glowing eyes scanning for movement. One leaped, landing on the ledge a short distance behind them. Liam felt a surge of fear, but he forced himself to focus. He remembered Tara's lessons: observe, anticipate, and act quickly. Tara whispered, "Distracted. Make it chase something else." Liam understood. He picked up a small rock and tossed it carefully toward a cluster of glowing plants. The rock knocked a branch loose, creating noise that drew the hunter's attention. The creature turned immediately, following the sound, giving Liam and Tara precious seconds to move forward. They ran along the ledge, using the narrow path to stay ahead. Another hunter appeared, blocking their route. Liam and Tara froze, realizing there was no way to bypass it without a clever move. Tara spotted a small crevice in the rocks above. "Climb," she whispered. "Use the rocks. Don't look down." Liam gritted his teeth and climbed carefully, his hands gripping rough edges, his feet finding tiny footholds. Tara followed, agile and precise. The hunters tried to follow, but the steep crevice slowed them, giving the humans a small advantage. Liam felt a rush of relief as they reached the top and moved along a safer path. Hours passed as they navigated the rocky cliffs and narrow ridges. The hunters were relentless, appearing unexpectedly at times, but Liam and Tara used their knowledge of the terrain and clever traps to stay ahead. They discovered that humans could outthink even creatures designed to hunt. Brute strength alone was not enough to overcome creativity and planning. Finally, they reached a plateau with a small stream. The hunters paused at the edge of the forest, unable to find a clear path to follow. Liam and Tara collapsed near the water, exhausted but alive. Their clothes were torn, their muscles sore, but their spirits were high. They had survived another day, and they had learned. Tara looked at Liam, her eyes bright with determination. "We made it because we stayed smart, adapted, and worked together. The hunters are strong, but humans have something they cannot match: ingenuity. We must use it wisely." Liam nodded, feeling a deep sense of pride and hope. Zarathis was a harsh world, full of dangers and challenges, but he had discovered the strength of human creativity, courage, and endurance. They had faced impossible odds, and they had survived dot as night fell. The glowing forest shimmered below them, painting the sky in shades of green and blue. Liam and Tara prepared a small camp, using rocks and branches to hide themselves. They drank from the stream and rested, knowing the hunters were still nearby, intelligent and persistent. Liam realized that the struggle on Zarathis was far from over. The hunters would continue to track them, and the planet itself offered countless dangers. But humans had proven something remarkable. They could survive not by being the strongest, but by thinking, planning, and adapting to every challenge. With the stars shining above and the glowing forest below, Liam understood the meaning of their journey. This was not just a fight for survival. It was a test of human ingenuity, courage, and determination. The hunters were powerful. The planet was dangerous. But humans had something no creature could match: the mind and the will to endure. Liam looked at Tara and smiled faintly. Together, they would continue the journey, face every danger, and survive. The struggle was far from over, but humans had proven that they could endure, think, and triumph where others might fail. The sun rose slowly over Zarathis, casting long shadows across the glowing forest. Liam and Tara moved carefully along the last stretch of rocky cliffs before the safe zone. They were exhausted, their muscles sore from days of climbing, running, and setting traps, yet their minds were sharper than ever. They had learned the ways of the hunters, understood the tricks of the planet, and discovered the strength that humans carried in their ingenuity and courage. Tara paused to scan the area. "We're close," she whispered. "I can see the edge of the valley. The safe zone is just beyond that ridge. But the hunters will know we are near. They will try everything to stop us." Liam nodded, gripping his knife and surveying the narrow path ahead. The hunters had been relentless, persistent, and intelligent. But humans had something no predator could match: creativity, patience, and the ability to learn from every challenge. He felt a surge of determination. They would not fail now. They moved along the ridge, keeping low and silent. From below, Liam spotted the hunters moving through the forest. Their glowing eyes scanned the terrain, searching, calculating. One of the hunters stopped suddenly and sniffed the air. Liam froze, his pulse racing. Tara nudged him gently. Move slowly. Let them come to the traps. Together, they guided the hunters toward the decoys they had set in the previous days. Rocks shifted, branches fell, and sounds echoed through the cliffs. The hunters paused, confused, and Liam and Tara slipped along a narrow ledge, gaining precious distance. The plateau below opened into a valley filled with strange alien vegetation. Liam could see the faint glimmer of a stream running through it in the shelter of large natural rock formations. The safe zone was close. Suddenly, a hunter appeared directly in their path, blocking the narrow ridge. Liam's heart raced. He looked at Tara, who signaled for him to follow her lead. Using a small rock, she triggered a hidden trap above the hunter. A cascade of stones tumbled down, startling the creature and forcing it back. Liam leaped past it, his feet gripping the rough rock. Tara followed, agile and precise. Together, they moved quickly, but carefully, to the edge of the valley dot. When they reached the valley floor, a sense of relief washed over them. The terrain opened into a natural fortress of rocks and water. They were inside the safe zone. Liam looked around, amazed. The valley was alive with strange glowing plants, fresh water streams, and natural shelters. There were signs that other humans had found this place long ago and survived here for some time. Tara smiled faintly. "We made it," she said. "We are safe for now, but the struggle is not over. We must rest, eat, and prepare. The hunters are still out there, but they cannot reach this place easily. Here, humans can survive, think, and recover." Liam sank to the ground, exhausted but filled with pride. He had faced impossible odds and survived. The hunters were powerful. The planet was harsh, but he and Tara had outsmarted them. Humans might be physically weaker, but their minds, courage, and adaptability had given them the edge. As they rested, Liam looked at the valley around them. He could see small shelters hidden among the rocks, shallow caves for sleeping, and streams that would provide fresh water. The safe zone was not just a place to hide. It was a place to observe, to learn, and to plan. Humans could rebuild here, grow stronger, and prepare for whatever challenges Zarathis would bring next. Night fell over the valley, casting a soft glow from the alien vegetation. Liam and Tara sat quietly, listening to the distant sounds of the hunters moving through the forest. The creatures were still out there, intelligent and relentless, but humans had discovered a power they could not match: ingenuity, courage, and the ability to survive in the face of overwhelming odds. Tara looked at Liam. "We survived because we learned, adapted, and trusted each other. Humans are not the strongest, but we are capable of incredible things. This is only the beginning. We will survive, explore, and endure." Liam nodded, feeling a deep sense of hope. He had discovered the truth of humanity on Zarathis. Strength was important, but it was creativity, courage, and adaptability that truly determined survival. He had faced impossible challenges and come out alive. Humans could endure where others might fail. As the stars appeared above the glowing valley, Liam understood the meaning of the struggle on Zarathis. The hunters were strong, the planet was harsh, but humans had a unique gift: the mind and the will to overcome. The safe zone was a small victory, but it symbolized something far greater. Humans were not just survivors. They were thinkers, planners, and capable of triumph, even in the most dangerous circumstances. Liam and Tara settled among the rocks, resting at last. They had survived the chase, outsmarted the hunters, and reached safety. But more importantly, they had discovered the strength of human ingenuity and determination. The struggle on Zarathis had begun, but humans had already proven that they could endure, adapt, and thrive where others might perish. Liam looked at Tara, then at the glowing forest and the distant mountains. He smiled faintly. Humans had arrived. And no matter the dangers ahead, they would survive, fight, and endure. The journey was far from over, but humanity had shown its greatest strength, the ability to face impossible odds and prevail.